Amragandhiharidra. Botanical origin: Curcuma amata Linn. Family: Zingiberacea. Sanskrit synonyms: Amragandhiharidra, Karpuraharidra, Darvipede, Amragandha. Sarabadaru, Daruka, Daru, Karpura, Padmapatra, Shugandha, Suranayika. Regional names: Bengali: Amata folia. Gujarati: Safthaldar. Hindi: Kapura haldi, Umbia haldi, Amata. Kannada: Ambahalad. Marathi: Ambahaladar, Amhaldi. Ma, Pandhari halad. Tamil: Arukamalakar. Telugu: Mamidyalam, Shadgranthika. Karupasupu, English: mango ginger. Parts used: rhizome and root. Properties and uses: Bhavaprakasa mentions this plant under the name of Karpuraharidra, but the term is not to be found in other similar lexicons. The fresh root possesses the smell of green mango, and medicinally it has been described as cooling and useful in Perigo Dutta, 1922. O'Shaughnessy 1841 in his Bengal Dispensatory described the drug as carminative, cooling, aromatic, bitter, stomachic and astringent. Tubers rubbed with the leaf juice of Caesalpinia bonduc Linn. Roxb. Emendandi axilla is given. For worms, the paste of drug with the juice of Jasminum grandiflora is applied to skin complaints of children, characterized by small blebs into which hairs grow soon after 10 days after birth. Rhizomes are also used externally in the form of paste for bruises, skin diseases and itching. Annan, 1950, Chopra et al., 1958, Bhuvetti, 1949, Dutta, 1922, Lalanpriya, 1930, Misra, 1949, Nidkarni, 1954, Sengupta, Shresti, 1953, Jha 1960 to mention that the rhizomes are employed in pramaha. Roots are expectorant, astringent, useful in diarrhea and gleet. Pashori and Mukherjee 1970 reported that the ethereal extract of the rhizome has a pronounced blood cholesterol-lowering action in rabbits which were fed daily for 12 days. Botanical description: herb. Rootstock large, sessile tubers, pale yellow inside, petiole long, leaves large, oblong lanceolate, tapering gradually to the base. Flower bracts pale green, flowers pale yellow. Spike autumnal. Corolla whitish, lip pale yellow. Hooker, 1973. Distribution: the plant is found wild in Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Konkan and on the hills of west coast of India, and often cultivated in gardens in rotation with vegetable crops. Cultivation: the plant grows well in fertile soils with free drainage. The rhizomes cut into pieces are planted at distances of about 0.3 to 0.4 meters each way in May-June. The crop needs copious water supply. Harvesting commences in October and continues till January. The average yield is about 4,000 kilograms fresh rhizome per acre. Macroscopical characters: rhizome, platy. The rhizome occurs in sympodially branched pieces, 3.0 centimeters to 15.0 centimeters long and 1.5 to 3.5 centimeters broad, laterally compressed. The branches rise buds obliquely from the rhizome, terminate in depressed scars or in undeveloped. The outer surface is pale brown in color, externally demarcated into nodal and internodal region. Fracture is short, the fibers of the fibrovascular bundles often projecting from the broken surface. It has mango-like odor and has a pungent taste. Scale leaves are present at the nodal region, while the rest of the portion is smooth. Mitra and Kapoor, 1971. Root. Plate 1. The roots are 10 centimeters to 15.0 centimeters long and 0.5 to 2.0 millimeters in diameter. Cylindrical, fragrant. Straight or slightly curved. Fracture is tough. The inner surface is black with yellowish wood. The odor is mango-like and taste is pungent. The roots occur along with rhizomes and are rarely found separate. Mitra and Kapoor, 1973. Microscopical characters: rhizome, plate 2, figs 3a, 5 to 6. The transverse section of rhizome shows periderm, which consists of 8 to 10 layers of thin-walled cork cells, tangentially elongated into an outer and inner zone of parenchyma. Scattered in the cortex are numerous oil cells with sebaceous walls enclosing yellowish-brown oleoresin contents. The inner cortical zone consists of 3 rings of collateral, closed vascular bundles. The larger bundles are marked sieve tubes and a xylem composed of vessels with annular, spiral, or enclosed in a sheath of fibers. Each vascular bundle contains phloem showing well reticulate thickening. The inner limit of the cortex is marked by a single layered endodermis. The vascular bundles of the stele are scattered as atypical of monocotyledonous stems. The ground mass of the stele is composed of parenchyma, resembling the cortical parenchyma and containing prismatic crystals of calcium oxalate, abundant starch grains, and numerous whorl cells. The parenchymatous cells of the cortex and pith are full of starch grains. The outer cortex contains a few layers of irregular shape to rounded parenchyma with a few starch grains, while the inner cortex, which is large, has parenchyma full of starch grains. The starch grains are flattened and ovoid, oblong, and have concentric striations. Scattered amongst the starch-bearing cells are cells containing yellow mass of oleoresin having cuticularized walls. The cortical bundles or leaf trace bundles are of close type, consisting of xylem and phloem only. There is no fibrous zone above the The fibers are long, slightly thick-walled, lignified with their tapering ends chisel-like, blunt or sharply pointed. The center of the stele is thick-walled and lignified. Starch grains are abundantly present in the cortical parenchyma, as well as pith cells, and vary in size from 15 to 38, ovoid, elongated ovoid. Hilum being in the center and concentric striations are present. 1.0 milligrams. Powdered drug dried at 100 Celsius contains approximately 9,995 granules of starch. Mitra and Kapoor, 1973. Cell contents. Some of the parenchymatous cells of the cortex are filled with brown pigments of contents. Oleoresin and starch are abundantly present in the parenchymatous cells of the rhizome and root. Prismatic crystals of calcium oxalate are also present. Physical constant values. Mitra and Kapoor, 1973. Table I, ash and extractive values of curcuma amata, percentage, total ash, 20.0, acid-insoluble ash, 0.94, water-soluble extractive, 19.53, fluorescence analysis. Mitra and Kapoor, 1973, Table 2. Fluorescence characters of curcuma amata under UV light, treatment, fluorescence, powder as such, brownish-orange, powder mounted in nitrocellulose, orange-yellow, powder treated with neoin methanol, gray, powder treated with neoin methanol, and mounted in nitrocellulose, brownish-red. Diagnostic characters. Rhizome occurs in sympodially branched pieces, pale brown in color, demarcated into nodal and internodal regions. Fracture is short with characteristic mango-like odor. Microscopically, rhizome shows periderm. Cortex in which numerous whorl cells with yellowish-brown oleoresin contents are present. Vascular bundles are scattered. Starch grains and oils. Curcuma amata, curcuma longa, curcuma zedoaria. Vessels are abundant, either have reticulate or scalariform thickening. Sometimes spiral or annular vessels are present. Starch grains are elliptical, ovoid, elongated, or globular. Hilum being in the center with prominent striations. Vessels are fairly abundant. They are mostly large and reticulately thickened with regularly arranged, rectangular pits. A few vessels with spiral or annular thickening also occur. Starch gains majority gelatinous or simple, flattened, oblong to oval, or irregular in outline with a small pointed hilum situated at the narrower end. Very faint transverse striations may be visible on a few of the granules. Vessels are present. Sclerenchymatous fibers absent. Large quantity of starch grains with faint striations and an indistinct hilum. Chemistry. The rhizomes yield 1.1% essential oil containing deoxyphenine, 18% ocimene, 47.2% safrole, 9.3% resin, sugar, gum, starch, albuminoids, crude fiber and organic acids. Annan, 1950, Data and Tail, 1941, Nadkarni, 1954. Jain and Misra, 1964, reported that the rhizome yields a colorless oil, an unidentified compound. Meter P 140-4, a phytosterol P 130 and Zulanacha, an oil containing pinene, camphor, 1-8 and curcumin and Termaroni. Chopra et al., 1956, 1958, 1969. References. Anonymous, 1950, The Wealth of India. Raw Materials, Volume 2, 401, CSIR, New Delhi, Biswas, K. N. Ghosh, A. 1952, Bharatiya Vanaushadhi, 3rd ed., 536, University of Calcutta. Chopra, R.N. Nair, S.L.N. Chopra, I.C. 1956. Glossary of Indian Medicinal Plants and CSIR, New Delhi. Chopra, R.N. Chopra, I.C. Handa. K.L. and Kapoor, L.D. 1958. Indigenous Drugs of India, 503, U. Ender and Sons, Calcutta. Chopra, R.N. Chopra, I.C. and Verma, B.S. 1969. Supplement to the Glossary of Indian Medicinal Plants, 21, CSIR, New Delhi. Hooker, J.D. 1973. The Flora of British India, Volume 6 to 213, reprinted Indian edition, Periodical Expert, Delhi 32.